The votes are in, it's time to see what this town is meant to be. Together strong we'll cast our say, build tomorrow from today. Side by side we make the call, every voice it counts them all. A team of hearts with plans to share, for every soul we're standing there. It's in the ballot, it's in our hands. Together we rise and take a stand. For every dream, for every need, community spirit is our creed. The vote is here to pave the way, working hard both night and day, delivering hope, delivering dreams. We are the ones who fuel the streams. Every corner, every street, we bring the change that makes us meet. Hand in hand we hold the flame, together we'll make a lasting name. It's in the ballot, it's in our hands. Together we rise and take a stand. For every dream, for every need, community spirit is our creed.
And welcome to today's It's in the Ballot show for the Paraparaumu Community Board. These candidates here are vying to get your first preference vote, but with every election there's one thing stepping in their way, and that's your vote. Here live from the Kapiti Impact Hub. Welcome to today's It's in the Ballot show, where we'll get to see our brilliant candidates here vying for the first preference vote for the Paraparaumu Community Board. So let's get first up here with Carl. Your 1 minute opening statement of why you should receive the first preference vote.
Kia ora. So Carl Webb is my name. I'm an 8th generation Kapiti coaster. I'm from 3 local iwi here, Ngāti Toa, Ngāti Awa, Ngāti Raukawa. I have 2 children and about 50 adopted kids, and I've got 3 mokopuna. I've been involved with community support and development for about 30 years. I've been on the local Paraparaumu Community Board for the last triennium. I've been interested and involved in local politics since around 1994, when our iwi signed a memorandum of agreement with Kapiti Coast District Council. We set up Te Whakamininga, and a vote for Carl is a vote for cool. So kia ora.
Okay, next up, Michelle.
Hi there, kia ora ana. My name is Michelle Scully, and I was born in Stokes Valley quite a few years ago. I've always said I went overseas to Wellington, where I studied music. I'm a living live musician, composer, and a performer in the arts, and I immigrated out to Paraparaumu about 35 years ago. I live on a beautiful piece of land which is covered in native trees. I absolutely love nature. The last 4 years, I have sat on the Creative Communities Board at the council as a committee. We give out money to a lot of very, very good community creative projects. I enjoyed it. My time is coming up. And I suddenly thought, you know what, I like being around the council table. Why don't I stand for the Paraparaumu Community Board? Hence why I put my name up. Number one for me, and Carl, of course. I have a great passion for Paraparaumu. I have a great passion for Kapiti itself. I've started the Kapiti Sketching Group. We meet once a month. Anybody's welcome to join us. And there's not much else to say, but I absolutely love being here. Thank you. Number one for me.
Okay, next up, Glenn.
Hey everybody, Glenn Olsen. I am your current chair, and it's been my privilege to be your chair of the Paraparaumu Community Board for the last triennium. I'm originally born and bred in Paraparaumu. My family's been here for about 55 years. I grew up here, and after my early 20s, I went off to Europe for 20 years and came back about 9 years ago. Came back to a town which had completely changed. Back when I left, the biggest hold up we had on Kapiti Road was the cows crossing the road to be milked. And today, well, look at it today, it's just completely different. So for the last 3 years, I have been advocating for the community, and I love this community, and that's my reason why I've been on the board. So I say thank you, everyone, and please vote for me again, because I'd love to represent you for another triennium. Thank you.
Okay, Marco.
Kia ora. I've got some notes, so I'm going to refer to them. Kapiti is in my blood. I grew up in Pukera Bay and have resided in Paraparaumu since 2012. I live, work and play in Paraparaumu, being fully vested in our district. I'm standing for the community board to make sure residents have a strong, independent voice in local decisions. I bring extensive governance and management experience, strong relationships with Puki Tapu, the hapu of this rohi, council, coastlands and the local stakeholders, including connections with both the airport and new Central Park plans, all critical to Paraparaumu's future. My track record includes founding the Taretanga Sculpture Symposium, International Sculpture Symposium in Franketts Park, relocating the Island Bay Marine Education Centre to the Bait Shed and Surf Club in Island Bay, leading the HMNZS Wellington Artificial Reef Project, and working as facilities manager at Zealandia while they built their new building. I was awarded Wellingtonian of the Year and Wellington Community Award in 2005. I have proven commitment to public art, community projects and sustainable growth, knowing how to bring people together, collaborate and deliver results. Marco Zeman for the Community Board.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got David.
Hi, good afternoon. I want to wish my fellow candidates all the best. But if you vote for me, vote number one for David Ogden. A bit about myself. Civic economy and civic character have been my hallmarks and my aims through my political career, with success. I've had good success in that, so remember that. So I'm offering to serve you in Paraparaumu to the best of my abilities. I like to succeed on your behalf. I've excellent experience in local government, Hutt City as the mayor, a councillor, and on the Wellington Regional Council plus the health board over there. I'm also a fellow in the Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand. I have my own business, but I've got spare time to work for you and Paraparaumu. I love Kapiti and have walked and cycled over most of our streets and environs. I've attended a number of the council meetings, so I know what's involved with that. I want to follow on from what we achieved with the Hutt City. We had a talented council and staff. I believe we were the best in New Zealand at what we set out to do, which was to lower rates and debt, strengthening core business and lifting our civic character. We were determined and successful. We had a great team. Thank you very much.
Okay, so now let's get to the box questions. These so how things we do here on community boards, we do things a bit differently. We'd like our candidates to work together as a team, because they're going to have to work together as a team once they're on the community board. So we have box number, we have box numbers between 1 and 9, and I'll go one by one with each candidate on picking a box number, and we'll get every candidate to answer that question. And I'll bring up my lovely random list order sheet here, which always is a lot of fun trying to make multiple things work on one screen here. And it will give me a lovely order. Michelle, You get to go first. What box number would you like to pick?
Hi there. I think I'll go for my lucky number 8.
Okay, so let's see what good old number 8 has. And I'll flip these upside down so I don't actually know what I'm picking out. Otherwise, it won't be quite so random. Okay, we got B for Bravo. How would you stand up for your community interests if it differs from your own position?
I think this is a fantastic question. One of the things that I learned by being on the Creative Community Committee for 4 years is that there were many things that would come in asking for money that perhaps weren't in my interests at all, but I didn't believe it was my job to turn them down because of that. I believe in working collaboratively with the team, and if something comes in that I don't agree with, I'd have to look at why didn't I agree with it. I'd have to look at what is other people's thoughts for that particular issue, and then make an honest decision. I try very hard, particularly in a community way, to not work with a political agenda, because I don't believe that actually belongs in such a community board. So for me, I would try to be as open as possible. And if I really felt strongly against it and I had the right reasons to say so, I would not be afraid to say. Just as I wouldn't be afraid to stand for something that everybody else was against and try and put my view forward as to why I believed in it very strongly. Thank you.
Okay, David, how would you like to answer that question?
What was the question?
So it's B for Bravo. How would you stand up for your community interests if it differs from your own?
Well, I'd have to put forward what I believe in. I'd have to put forward what I believe in about any particular situation, but I would take the interest of the community first. It's quite difficult, and that's one of the secrets of politics, local politics, and whatever. You've got to be very careful about your ethics, what is best for the community, and sometimes you've got to eat humble pie, but it's very, very difficult at times, very difficult. So I'd probably, well, it depends on the circumstances of where and the problem that you're facing. Thank you.
Okay, Marco.
If the community's interests differ from my own, I would prioritise listening, engaging and representing their voice fairly. My role on the board is not to push my own personal views, which I do have, of course, but to make decisions that reflect the wider community's needs and aspirations. I would seek input from affected residents, weigh up the evidence, ensure all the perspectives are considered. Even if my personal position differs, I would stand up for what best serves the community's well-being, resilience and long-term future. At the same time, I'd be transparent about my views so people know I'm acting with integrity.
Okay, Glenn.
Yep, that's right. Caught up in the cables. Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And it's in a position I've been in many times, because when we are voted on not to make decisions based on our own personal preferences. We're there to advocate for, listen to, and do what's right for the community. So it's nothing new there. And, you know, it's not just here. Many of us have had jobs where our bosses come to us and ask us to do something which we haven't agreed with or didn't believe, but we get along and we do it because it's the right thing to do for the business. Does not always the right thing for us. So I strongly believe that we are there to make decisions based on what the community needs and what the community wants. We're not voted on to force our own personal, you know, beliefs on the community and vote for ourselves. So that's my thank you.
Okay, Carl. Just warning you, your microphone is a bit shorter leash than it was before.
My one or
No, Carl's.
Carl's? Oh, okay.
No, just. Oh, yeah, just start talking for it and hope we fix the fault. Yeah.
Well, I'm always right, so that just rock. No, my buzz. So yeah, as what Glenn said, Glenn's been a fantastic chair. Glenn's said the right thing there. We're there to advocate for everybody else. Our main goal is to bring people's voices to the council table and advocate for their voices. And amongst that, though, we do get to have our opinion about things, and I think that's real healthy as well. I think my buzz is to be as active and on the ground as I can out in the community and hear those voices. Social media is my buzz as well, and bring those voices to the council table, to our elected members, to give them as much information as we can to vote on issues. Kia ora.
Okay, David, you get to pick the next box number. What box number would you like it to be?
Box number 6, please.
Box number 6, no
Thank
problem. Okay, we have E for Echo. What community projects would you be happy to support for community board grants?
You asking me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for about 6 years, I was chair of the
Microphone.
Sorry, thank you.
That's all right. Those at home want to hear.
For the Wellington Regional Lotto Board, and it was quite scary actually. I marched in, there were 6 ladies on the committee and me. I tell you, that was pretty scary for me. But we had a great time. And a lot of the work was done by internal affairs, and they would do the papers and we would look at them. And so you'll find there are dozens and dozens and dozens of different community organisations that apply for funds. And the Lotto Committee was a very good example of going through all the different factors and giving out money accordingly. And it was very good. And it wasn't in the interest of the persons involved, it was more in the interest of the organisations that we were dealing with. Thank you.
Okay, Marco.
I think we'd have to know what the projects were, and I haven't sat on the community board as yet, so I think without knowing what's already out there and the way the community's projects are looking, what projects they're looking for, I think I need to just sit back and listen and learn first. I've got a really good background in the arts, supporting the arts, and I think that would be one of the areas that I'd be very keen to actually grow and around this area. Art and creativity is a key element in building that sense of pride in place, which is foundational to happy communities. But again, I'll listen and learn first and then walk with the projects that have got everybody's backing. I think that's where it comes from.
Okay, Michelle.
Hi there. I kind of feel the same as Marco here. Because I haven't sat on this particular board before, I would also have to wait and listen. However, also with a background in arts, creativity, performance, I'm very lucky to say I've performed at Te Kura. I think we have an amazing performing arts centre here. I'm also very aware of some of the damage that happens down on the beach, and I've been thinking about this lately. In New Plymouth, many years ago, the artist Michael Smither created a whole sculptorial thing of using all the driftwood in such a way that the sand stopped being washed away, and they actually rebuilt the whole area of the beaches. And I started thinking, I wonder if we've actually done that here in Kapiti. It's something that if I'm elected, and I hope I am, number one for me, I would definitely put that forward as an idea to see whether or not it's something worthwhile pursuing. And of course, it's not just for established artists, it would be everybody who brings forward their sculptorial ideas to help reclaim the beach and the sands. Thank you.
Okay, Cal.
Oh, kia ora. So yeah, being on the community board already, I really love giving funding away. That's fantastic. We've got we have guidelines for people to make sure their funding aligns with their guidelines. It's discretionary, and yeah, I really like giving the small amounts of money we give away to make a maximum impact in the community with people that are doing cool things out there. So it's empowering people, and yeah, and what they bring back to our community from what we funded them. So. So kia ora.
And remember to write out that check too. It's in the Ballot Productions. Glenn.
Yeah, no, thank you. Another good question. And look, giving out grants is about what's best for the community. And what we need to remember is an individual can be an important part of the community as well. So, there are times where the grants will go to a group, because that is what's best for the community. And sometimes it can be for an individual who's doing something because they have an impact on the community as well. But if you look at some of the ones that we've done, to give you an idea, over the last triennium, we've put grants out for defibrillators, we've done sports groups, we've done things like a group with the Good Bitches Bakery who does bakery for people who can't get it otherwise. So, there's a huge amount of groups who we've funded, and really it is about making sure that the funding we give gives good value back to the community for whatever the cause is.
Okay, next up, Marco, you get to choose the next box number.
I'll go with 1.
Go with 1, no problem. And just remember to rank your number voting papers. Start off with number 1. Okay, now we've got G for golf, and I know there's a good golf course down Valley Road that's probably suitable to all of us except for President Donald Trump. What would your role entail in overseeing the planning, regulation, and implementation of traffic, parking, signage, and related policy changes, including community consultation processes?
I'll refer to my notes again. Firstly, the board would need to digest any policy changes and fully understand its implications, benefits, and how it fits with the community vision. Communication out to the community to inform and make aware of these changes, looking for input. We would ask those promoting change to present to the community and get feedback. An action plan as to a response would need to be based on this feedback and community input. Keeping this process to a timeline to ensure that any response is presented within the required processes timeframe is also very important.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, no, thank you. So our role in this is an interesting role, and I'll give a couple examples of two changes we made in this last triennium. So one of them was outside a doctor's down the beach where they were having problems with parking with a new development next door. And with that one, it was both the developer and the doctor who came to us and said, look, there's an issue here, what can we do? So we went down there first of all, and we met with everybody in the area that we could. We spent the day there, the doctors, the developers, the households. Across from us was the community centre who needed parking. So the first thing we did was we talked to everybody about what the impact was going to be. Sorry
about that.
And then a report comes through to us, and then at the board, we look through the report and the recommendations from staff. And in this case, actually, we didn't completely agree with the recommendation, but we agreed with most of it. So on the night, we did have the opportunity to change it, and we did change it a little bit and put it through. Second one we did was, again, very similar, a couple of loading bays that a courier driver had requested down Paraparaumu Beach. Again, we talked to the community, we talked to the driver, we talked to the public, and we found that the public was very worried about losing parking spaces down there. So in this one, the right medium in the end was we approved one there, and we did not approve the other one. So, it was a good solution all around that we did. Thank you.
Okay, David.
Well, I think one has to reflect on the rules of the local authority, and you must adhere to those, and also of the government. There are local situations which must be looked at as well, and so any person and the people that are here that are elected, they will have to have recourse to the people in the community and talk to them and find out their views. But safety is very, very important, particularly with the people that are living here. A lot of older people here. You get on a community committee, and there's always a very, very big upswell of the safety of traffic for everybody in the community. And so you've got to look at where all the risks are and deal with those, plus the rules that are happening at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle.
That's a very loaded question. I want to get rid of all road codes in New Zealand. That is not going to happen. But in reality, I think safety is incredibly important. And the other thing that's important is, if I'm elected, and I want to be, is that I have to learn exactly what some of these questions mean. Because if I had it my way, wouldn't it be nice to go back? When I was 5 or 4 or 3, I was on holiday here and I was on the back of the milk cart that was drawn by horses delivering milk. Wouldn't that be fabulous to have that back? No, but we do have to remember things like people do ride their horses on the roads. And I think a bit of education wouldn't go amiss in certain areas of certain ways. In the end, though, the law must be followed. And if changes are required, we do have to listen to the community. And I applaud you, what you said, that you listened to the community and got a sensible set of car parks outside of doctors. I think that's brilliant. If that's what the community board can do, I'm in. Thank you.
Okay, Carl.
Hey, so good. So my thing would be, I'm really nosy, so I want to know what's going on everywhere. So keep an eye on what's going on, be involved in what's going on, and maintain and build networks and relationships with people in the community, in council, so elected members and also staff, and just keep on top of that. Make sure that we're maintaining some people's voices are being heard.
Okay, so let's go up. Next, Glenn, you get to pick the box number.
7.
7. Okay, we got I for India. How can the community board contribute to civil defence and emergency management in your area?
Yeah, thank you. So it's really important, and this is an issue where I know the civil defence team does need help. So there's a couple things that they need help with. One is just keys to the different civil defence buildings and places, and they have little buildings with kits in, and they need people to hold these keys, and they have trouble doing that. So, you know, community board members are in a great position to be able to hold these keys, and when there is a problem, they can go to these centres and open them up. So I think a lot of it is working with our civil defence group and talking to them how we can help them and doing what we can, and also helping them because they run some great events during the year, and it's getting the word out to get the public to come in to these events and help them out and do the training and everything else. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, Marco.
I've worked on a number of occasions with emergency services. When I sank the frigate Wellington, we gave the ship over to the National Police Dive Squad, the fire service, and we had numerous exercises on board that ship before we took it out and sunk it. I think by working closely with both civil defence and emergency responders, having community education sessions from them, and through this community engagement, evaluate our Paraparaumu's needs and resources, plannings and actions depending on the emergency type. So again, I'm embryonic in the role. If you do vote me in, it's something I'll need to learn more about, but certainly working with the emergency services and getting them to teach us what they would like us to do as the public in an emergency is really key, I think. So thank you.
Okay, Michelle.
I think civil defence, emergency organisations that look after us in disasters are incredibly important. I have a lot of respect for the Coast Guard down at the beach. I've partaken in some fundraising events for them back in the past. It just made me aware just then that I don't know much about first aid. And I think that if I was on the community board, I'd take that very seriously and go and do a first aid course. Because if I'm a community board member, I think we should be there to help if there is a disaster. I would really like to learn more about the whole civil defence, and I'm pleased that you said, David, that we could do more. So if elected, I would definitely help to do more. I like the idea of having keys at certain spots if there is a disaster, and maybe there should be some sort of education factor that we could look into for advancing all of this support for the existing organisations and civil defence itself. Thank you.
Okay, and what's it called? That was number 4, which started with Glenn, Marco, Michelle, Carl. Sorry, that's what happens when I'm doing multiple things at once.
Yeah, again, I think working relationships and networks, Kapiti Council's connected communities teams, emergency management, working with remote civil defence, knowing what's going on. I might sound like Michelle now. So, yeah. I could blow it for you. So, kia ora. So again, building relationships and working with healthy working relationships with councils, connected communities, emergency management, civil defence, working with Remo, understanding what's going on, encouraging people to be involved in that, and doing good comms, social media comms, and promoting what councils are putting out around this stuff here. The other area I'm really keen to be working a bit more on and focusing on is bringing the civil defence and emergency management stuff into our schools and working with our kids and getting our kids prepared for this stuff. So kia ora, that's me. Thank you.
Okay, David.
Well, I've got very strong feelings about this. The weather events that we've had lately, Gabrielle, and also the flooding in Auckland, the loss of life in Esk Valley, I believe it was. I don't think there's enough action being taken against some of the elected members and the officers of various local authorities, because there have been lives lost, and I think that there needs to be more punitive investigation taken against local authorities. I was talking to a couple of engineers about earthquakes, and they were they were trying to find how safe a bank was, because they're going to put this house on the side of a cliff, basically. I said, well, we've got earthquakes. He said, we're going to have them. It's just a question of when. And I think with the climate change that we're having, we're going to be on the front foot rather than looking at what might happen. But just think about Esk Valley and people that lost their lives there. It wasn't good enough. Thank you.
Okay, so we get off for another one. Carl, what box number?
Like box number 7, like the Seven Sisters in our
I love
Matariki.
that. I love
Yeah,
that. I love
kia ora.
someone using Tadeo. Okay, we got A for animal. What will be your preference for new street names to be based on in the Paraparaumu Community Board area? Examples: former mayor names, names gifted from local iwi.
I like Carl's Way. So yeah, kia ora. I think that our naming of our streets, really, I'd like to see them based on the Kapiti Coast history, people that have had an impact and left a legacy on the Kapiti Coast. And for me, our street names are a bit like our whakapapa, and it helps us to keep the past visible. And I think that it really honours us as a Kapiti Coast, and that's the way I think it should be done. So kia ora koutou.
Okay, David.
Well, nobody named a street after me, so I don't care, you know. But someone like Percy Dowse, who did a lot of building and that sort of thing, he's remembered. But Kennedy Good, for example, I know he jacked up his deputy mayor to put forward his name, so I'm told. But it doesn't really matter unless the people know what the name is. If it's a Maori name, it's got to be a popular name, and people have got to understand what it is. And I
Close to mic, close to your mouth.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry for my waving. Ice cream. I think that I think that the te reo and the strengthening of the Maori language coming through, I think that could be a really good source of us being more educated about Pākehā. I think about my children, like my son who went, he swam out to Mokoia Island in Rotorua and spent 3 weeks there learning the taiha. I mean, Pākehā can learn a lot more about our brothers who
And sisters.
Pardon?
And sisters.
Well, yes, our brothers and ancestors, because it's very much part of us. I heard somewhere that New Zealand's one of the best countries in the whole world. And that could be right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next up, Marco.
I think this should be on a case-by-case basis. It all depends on where the road's going. If there's someone who's lived in that road with some real connection and history, a hapu connection, a cultural or historic feature, it's all relevant to the information that comes in when someone's looking and saying, what are we going to name this place? So I think working with hapu, especially in this area, is key. And obviously reflecting on the Kapiti story is also a good thing to do with our road names.
Okay, Carl. Oh no, you've already done that. Glenn.
Yeah, no, I also like Carl's way, but we don't want to give him a big head, you know. Anyway, no. I think, street names, they really need to tell a story, which could be a bit of history of what there is, someone that's been there, what the land was used for, an animal, the birds that used to be there. But what I think is they should be kept simple, because often some of the names can become too long and too hard for people to, I'm speaking of myself there. I know I go around the community a lot, and some people give me some names and I can spend 5 minutes on Google Maps trying to find something that matches. So, they should be easy for people to find, because it's really important that at the end of the day, a street is there so people can find you and find the street. So, but, it should be a mix and tell a story or a bit of history of where it is so we remember. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle.
Great question. Michelle Street, Michelle Lane, Michelle somewhere else. No, not at all. I grew up in Stokes Valley, as I said earlier, and a lot of our street names were tree names. So I just thought that was beautiful. Kamahi Street, etc. Manuka Street, Manuka Grove. I like the idea of birds as well, and I totally love the idea of history. I think it's a case-by-case basis. And I think, once again, obviously, you do have to listen what people would want in the area. And I guess who gets to decide in the end? Is it the committee? Is it the council? We should be open. But I also agree with you don't want long, long, long names. I've just had the privilege of having this lovely new bracelet around my neck. Thank goodness I didn't have to call an ambulance. We were able to drive me to where I needed to get help. But if it had been a long-winded name and we were panicking to try and get an ambulance, that wouldn't have been very helpful. So I do agree. Brevity is not a bad idea. History is good. Remember our birds and also our colour. There's some very nice, beautiful names of colour in Māori I support. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to have to sit there and say we've got some better or some bad news. We can only get to our hard-hitting question before we have to get ready for the Paraparaumu, general ward at 4 o'clock. So, Nick, can you roll the hard-hitting question graphic, please?
Hard-hitting questions, we're not gonna need to put in. What does a question? Because every candidate has to answer the hard-hitting questions.
All members only have to answer one hard-hitting question, the most important one. A Māori constituency for GWRC, Te Upoka I Te Ika a Maui, is being established for the 2025 election alongside the Kapiti Coast Māori ward. How would you ensure meaningful collaboration with mana whenua and support of Māori leadership in regional planning and service delivery? Marco.
I will refer to my notes. I fully support the establishment of Māori constituencies and the Kapiti Coast Māori ward as important steps towards honouring Te Tirotio Waitangi and strengthening local democracy. Meaningful collaboration begins with genuine relationships, listening to mana whenua, respecting tikanga, and ensuring Māori voice is essential in decision-making, not an afterthought. Supporting Māori leadership means backing capacity in decision-making, building initiatives, resourcing Māori-led projects, and recognising the unique role mana whenua play as kaitiaki. My proven commitment is to walk alongside mana whenua and not speak for them, so that planning and services reflect both Te Ao Māori and the wider community's shared future. And I have a very special relationship with Puki Tapu. I'm fully partnered with them, and I'm deemed to be an honorary member. So yes, I think I've got good connections into our local hapu. Thank you.
Okay, David.
So this is a very important question, and my reaction is to think of my children and their friends. So Nathan Gray, I referred to him. I was over in China, and I had to ad lib a wee bit, but I talked about Nathan Gray, who had walked the length of the Great Wall of China, and his son, his twin brother Tamahuta Gray, and his sister, of course, is part of their friendship group. And I keep sending notes to Radio New Zealand telling that Tama Potaka is going to be Prime Minister of this country one day, in my view. And I think it's very important, probably one of the most important things, and I just do not agree with our blessed friend, David Seymour. The Tiriti Waitangi is one of the most important documents in our life, and we've got to honour that. And there was so much of our working together in the hut, I can only refer to that probably, with our Maori brethren there. And I think it's great that the Maori are being represented on the council here and the various local authorities throughout the country. It's very, very important.
Okay, next up, Glenn.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, really, another really good question. And I'm going to take it back to the role of our community board here and how our community board can ensure meaningful collaboration. And look, it's about working with them. It's about listening. I say, it's our community, our voice, and everybody has their voice in our community, including mana whenua and the Māori and everyone else. So it's really about listening to them, working with them, getting their points of views and everyone else's. And well, I'll say for the last training, we've been really lucky to have Carl on our board, because Carl has the connections to all the local iwi, the mana whenua, and that's made a huge difference for us. We've had the expert on our board, and we've been able to go to Carl, or Carl's brought everything to us. So what I'd say is to keep this connection up, vote for Carl, because I think having Carl on our next board is really important for us to keep this, and to work with mana whenua in a way that probably no other community board has been able to do.
And now, Carl, you get to stand up.
I don't need to now. So, kia ora, Glenn. So I am local mana whenua. I'm from Hapi for me to the 3 iwi here. So I guess my buzz is, to keep promoting good, healthy relationships and networks. At the start of the triennium, we did start relationship building with our, not just our charitable trust, the business side of iwi, local iwi here, but we did it with the Kaumātua Marae trustees, and we keep building on that. So my buzz is, positive relationships and networks, and I absolutely support Māori wards. I'm a member of the Paraparaumu Māori committee as well, and I guess part of my passion for that is making sure that urban Māori, those that aren't mana whenua here, which is a large proportion of this community of Māori, that they're well represented at the table as well. So I'm really excited to see how the next 3 years go with the Māori board. So kia ora. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle.
At first, I didn't even understand the question, because of course we should all work together. And I believe that so strongly deep in my heart. I completely support Māori wards as well. And I do not like some of the division that I've been seeing lately creeping into New Zealand. It doesn't belong here. It's an honour to know you, Carl, and work with you on several levels. And I'm proud that for many, many, many years, I've delved right into the depths of taonga puro, which are the Māori flutes. I play them, I make them, I teach people how to make them. I want to listen to people from the Māori ward. I want to listen and see it all grow the way that it should. I can't even understand that we have this question. I mean that from my heart. However, vote for Carl, because he's a good guy. Vote for me. Number 1, thank you.
If you're just wondering, Carl is not standing for the Kapiti Coast Māori ward. Because I think you've got, was it quite a few people who would vote for you in that particular vote? Yeah.
We've got great candidates.
Brilliant ones. Yeah. Okay, now time for closing statements. Carl, you get to go first. Why the voters should give you their number 1 vote?
Oh, kia ora. Yeah, give me your vote. I was humbled to be elected to the community board. It's been fantastic having my feet into the council table. I've worked with our community board members, other community board members, elected members of council, and built some really cool relationships with staff. I sit centrally, politically. I'm central, probably lean to the left. Socially, a little bit to the right financially. I think our council has had a massive change this last triennium. It's been a privilege to be involved in that and representing you, my community out there. And yeah, I'm keen to give it another go. So yeah, vote for Carl's, vote for Cool. Thank you. Kia ora.
Okay, next up, David.
Well, I first met Carl last year at this very meeting, and I think I'll vote for you probably. Yeah, good on you. No, but Carl is one of the friendliest, nicest persons, and we're friends on Facebook. And I just love his photography, and he's very eloquent. And yeah. I don't know about number one though.
Oh, I'll take two. I'll take anything.
No. Well, good luck, man. There you go.
Kia ora.
Okay, Michelle.
As I said earlier, I thoroughly enjoyed being on the committee for 4 years where we gave out money to creative community schemes. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to work with councillors and our mayor. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know many people who were at the council. And I feel my time is coming up, and that's when I realised I really enjoy working as part of this team for this community, hence why I put my hand up to stand and represent you who live here. Give me the number one, or number one, or number one, but whatever, give me your vote. I promise to represent you. I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay, Marco.
I think I can bring a huge amount of skills. I'm a bit of a MacGyver, so capable of most things. I've got a huge track record in working in the community across Wellington. I still hold the record for the largest single biggest event in Wellington's history, for which I got Wellingtonian of the Year. So I've been tied into community for years and years, since pretty much the late 80s, and I've been able to actually put a lot of attention into that because I've got a career wife who supports everything I do. So I think I bring a lot to the table, and I think my skill set would add to Carl's and Glenn's considerably. So if I can add value, vote for me.
Okay, Glenn.
Yeah, no, thank you. As I said at the beginning, it's been my real privilege to have represented you as your chair of the community board for the last 3 years. And, to get out there in the community, talk to the community, to help the community and this place that I love and the people I love and everything else. So it would just be a privilege to be able to continue and to do that and to represent you and make sure that your voice is heard, in the community and at council for the next 20 men. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for candidates for participating on the show. Just a little bit of a heads up on how STV works. When it comes to voting, you'll be ranking your candidates in order of preference. In order for a candidate to be elected, they have to achieve at least, the quota. Now, how the quota is worked out in this rate, there are 4 positions. So the quota is worked out by the total number of positions plus 1 divided by the total number of votes. In order to achieve, to get above the quota, you have to have, for this particular case, at least 20% of the votes plus 1. So when it comes to ranking, rank your candidates on the order of preference of who you would like to be elected. An example of a redistribution coming from the top, this is usually where a candidate receives more votes than what they need for the quota. Say the quota is 650 votes, the candidate receives 1,000 votes. They keep 0.65 of the votes, and their 0.35 of all their votes get redistributed to their second preferences, and it goes that way on. When there isn't enough to reach a quota, the elimination comes from the bottom, and that is where the candidates from the bottoms is eliminated and redistributes to their second preferences, and that process will keep going until there are 4 elected people on council. Not on council, on the community board, who you get the right one. So when it comes to voting, please make sure you get out and vote and take a look at all the candidates that are available and get ranking. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time with Paraparaumu General Ward. Just give us a bit, 5 minutes, because we took a little bit off late this one, so we get candidates all ready, and we'll see you back soon with Nick in the driver's seat.